Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. This is the collaboration I did not see coming. But first things first, this is not financial advice. Anything said in this video is strictly opinion content, and I am not, most certainly not, a licensed financial advisor. With that understood and out of the way, let's dive into the craziest collaboration between GameStop and the White House. Obviously, for a piece of crap retailer, according to Ryan Cohen, you wouldn't think that GameStop would be on the White House and the Trump administration's map, but stranger things have obviously happened, and we are living through the craziest timeline I've personally ever seen, and probably more excited about the future than I've ever been at this moment. But last night we had some really interesting, and this happened on Sunday, October 26th, really interesting or excuse me, even Saturday, October 25th was the start of this all when GameStop released a statement, basically a kind of meme-esque piece on their social media handle on X that was just saying the end of the console war is here and officially declaring the war over, kind of like what you would see President Trump or the Trump administration do when it comes to any one of the numerous world conflicts currently going on. And then fast forward to Sunday night, and the White House decided to post a meme of President Trump dressed up as the Halo Master Chief with the Master Sword or whatever the sword is. That's from Zelda. And then, of course, they tweeted out from the official. This is the White House official at the White House. You can see it here. Official account, 3 million followers. Super bizarre stuff. So what does it mean? Is this more to the story than just tinfoil? Well, let's just zoom out for a minute and kind of rewind. How did we end up here? And something that, this is not tinfoil. This is just reporting on the facts. Something that is very often, I think, overlooked at this point in time, which is almost the full way through 2025, is the fact that Ryan Cohen, the CEO and chairman of GameStop, was extremely vocal in favor of President Donald Trump when Trump was running against the opponents on the Democratic ticket in 2024. Now, Ryan Cohen, series of massive Trump type posts. You can see this one here. I posted them all on my X account. Trump has now won 3 elections in a row. It's hilarious. And Trump 2024. So, you can tell that there was other ones too. I've excluded for the sake of time, but Ryan Cohen has been very outspoken and very pro Donald Trump. And it's really interesting because then, so that was kind of a foreshadowing precursor moment from Ryan Cohen. And then, of course, fast forward to now, nothing's really happened between GameStop and the Trump administration, the White House. I think a lot of investors were speculating early on after Trump won the presidency that for his second term, that maybe the Trump administration was going to go after short sellers. They had their own problems with DJT stock, and Devin Nunes, one of their high representatives of the company, and a figure in the Trump administration, had been publicly calling out short sellers with DJT. So there was a lot of speculation too from the GME shareholders and some of the community that, okay, maybe the Trump administration is going to go after short sellers in the marketplace and maybe push the SEC, to crack down on some of these things. And obviously, what company is more synonymous with short selling than GME? So of course, now fast forward, nothing's happened yet, but here we are with actual kind of collaboration. It's not, nothing official has come out, but this is super interesting. You can see here from the Rapid Response 47 government account, this is basically another one of President Trump accounts in the administration that kind of tweets out the most rapid breaking news. Last night, they posted number 9, President Trump presides over the end of the 20-year console wars, and they're quote tweeting GameStop. I mean, this is blockbuster stuff. You can see there up top too, Ryan Cohen had reposted that. So Ryan Cohen's clearly involved. Someone in, and we're not going to say President Trump because he's doing 1,000,000,001 things, but someone in the Trump administration clearly has an eye on these things. And it makes it super, super fascinating for GameStop. And, the stock reacted as well. And I'll get into the real reason here, closer to the end of the video, why I think the stock actually reacted. It's such a big move, not necessarily news related, but more mechanics. but you can see it caught a, kind of 6%. Actually, let's turn extended hours on. I think it was a bit higher than that. I saw upwards of 8% at one point. So yeah, you can see here that the stock from start of day 8.66% up. So that's a pretty big move in pre-market for GameStop. Of course, it was all sold off, and the warrants, the GameStop warrants, caught a huge bid as well, up 30% in pre-market. Now those are going to be shorted and slam back down. Gaps are going to be filled, before I think any continuation in price action that we're going to see. But the more interesting thing to me is, what does this mean? What is foreshadowing? Well, even if we don't know necessarily what is to come, and the cards are revealed and we're all in on the poker table, so to speak, the fact of the matter is GameStop has caught the attention, or even GameStop social media has clearly caught the attention of the Trump administration. Ryan Cohen has been vocally supportive of Trump, like I saw and I showed you in the posts on X. So those two things together clearly signal something is brewing. Now, is there going to be an official announcement? Is it, are they going to go after short sellers? I mean, that's more of the tinfoil pipe dream aspect, but 35,000 foot view, this is clearly something that is a net positive for GME to be in the news like this, to be under the attention of the Trump administration. And who knows, the sky is the limit with this company. That's why it's so exciting for me, personally speaking, to be a shareholder at this time. And let me know in the comments below if you have any theories on what's going on here. Are you hearing any rumors? What's your tinfoil on it? I'm not going to go down that road necessarily, because that's where you get burned. But GameStop's still trading in the $23 range. It's not like, off these tweets. And by the way, I think anecdotally speaking here, but I think any other company that would have had White House, social media attention to it would have been up much greater than GameStop. But we've all seen the tricks. We've all been around the block. We know how these things work. Definitely an interesting and high volume event, though, tied to this. And I'll show you why I personally think that this is the case today with a higher volume event, and part of the reason why I have this funny squiggly line drawing on my chart. We are on the daily for GameStop right now. Their earnings was on Tuesday, September 9th. And the positive reaction with buying happened on Wednesday, September 10th. Now, if market makers, for whatever reason, were unable to deliver shares, or if they went to the ETFs to try and contain and short GameStop back down after a very, very, very positive earnings report, T plus 33 settlement off of that would be on Monday, October 27th. So higher volume, fails to deliver, being cleaned up. I'll show you this in the old Richard Newton spreadsheet. So on September 10th, you can see here in this row, 601069 on GME. Those are fails to deliver. And then a huge block, 1481,609. That's hilarious. The similarity there, but on the ETFs in general. Now, you're going to say, oh, well, calendar days, 35 calendar days, those would have been closed a little earlier. Richard Newton brought light to this, where the ambiguity of the rules suggests that it could be T plus 33, depending on special trades. So that would perfectly align today, October 27, with that theory. Now, you could have said maybe they closed some out on Thursday, October 23 as well, when GME was at its relative low after the potential swap there. So that would be my take on what's going on with the volume related event. But I think even if you don't believe in settlement and this, that, and the other, even though kind of everything keeps lining up over and over and over, even if you don't believe that, I think it's extremely encouraging that GameStop has the attention of the White House. It has the intention, obviously, of people like us, the retail investor. And then lastly, it probably has the attention of institutions and anyone short as well, because at any point, with nearly $10 billion in cash in the war chest, they could deploy that capital. Now, we know Ryan Cohen is waiting for decades and centuries, and he's not looking for day traders. That's all understood, a pitch down the middle, if you will. But with that at his disposal, at any time he could theoretically push the button, it is a very dangerous game to play, to still be doing these ETF can kicks, these fails to deliver, the aggressive shorting, creating new ETFs to recycle fails to deliver, all of that. The music looks like it will eventually stop. So I hope that helps on, maybe what's going on with some of this volume. In the meantime, hang on to your hats. Let's see what Ryan Cohen and the White House, if there's anything further there. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you again real soon.